Nestled along the wild Pacific coastline of Puerto Escondido, Mexico, Casa Macahuite stands as a quiet tribute to its surrounding environment. Designed by Studio Font, this 300-square-meter residential shelter draws its power from restraint, resting gently between the vast expanse of the ocean and the dramatic rise of the Sierra Madre mountains. The architecture is defined by concrete, a raw, tactile material chosen to withstand the tropical climate while acquiring a natural patina over time. Structured around 5 geometric planes, 4 vertical concrete walls, and a low floating wooden pergola, the home blurs the boundary between shelter and landscape, creating an open-air sanctuary defined by shade, sea breezes, and constant visual connection to nature. From high above the coast, the site reveals its raw, untamed beauty. A narrow stretch of golden sand separates the churning blue waters of the Pacific Ocean from a vast sea of dense tropical vegetation and cacti. Perched right at this ecological threshold sits the house, appearing almost like a pair of solitary monoliths emerging quietly from the landscape. The design intent here is immediately clear. Rather than imposing itself on the land, the structure aligns with the horizon. Its low profile and earthy gray tones melt into the dry brush, maintaining an uninterrupted dialogue between the mountains inland and the waters ahead. Moving directly overhead, the bird's-eye perspective highlights the precise geometry of the intervention. The floor plan unfolds as 2 distinct concrete blocks, linked by a central outdoor deck and a linear swimming pool that stretches parallel to the shore. Dirt trails weave through the surrounding scrubland, emphasizing the remote, untouched nature of the location. The compact footprint preserves the native habitat, allowing wild flora to press right up against the edges of the home. Lowering closer to the ground from the desert side, the 2 principal volumes become clearly defined. 4 monolithic concrete walls cut vertically through the terrain, acting as structural anchors and thermal barriers against the intense tropical sun. Connecting these towers is a lightweight horizontal steel beam that supports the central pergola. Soft afternoon light washes across the textured concrete surfaces, demonstrating how the raw material catches the changing sun throughout the day. Angling along the shoreline, the building's orientation reveals its primary defense against the harsh coastal climate. The solid, unadorned concrete sidewalls face the strongest elements, shielding the interior spaces while framing direct views toward the water and mountains. Warm timber louvers screen the open ends of the structure, providing privacy and solar control without blocking the continuous breeze drifting off the ocean. Descending to ground level among the native cacti and low shrubs, the verticality of the design takes on a rhythmic quality. The 4 concrete planes rise like ancient ruins, staggered to create depth and shadow across the landscape. A simple rainwater spout cantilevers from the top edge of the concrete wall, showcasing a thoughtful approach to functional details that honor basic environmental processes. From the surrounding sand, the home feels rooted and permanent, yet entirely open to its environment. The golden light of late afternoon illuminates the pale gray concrete and highlights the rich grain of the wooden louvered screens on the ground floor. The balance of heavy concrete and warm timber speaks directly to the material palette of the region. grounding the contemporary architecture in local building traditions while maintaining a modern, stripped-back aesthetic. Viewing the building through a veil of wild green vegetation and towering columnar cacti emphasizes the seamless integration of architecture and landscape. The solid upper wall of the rear volume anchors the structure, while the warm timber louvers below soften its presence. As sunbeams filter through the dry coastal air, the concrete catches a soft amber glow, illustrating how the building changes character as day transitions into dusk. Stepping closer through the thickets of sea grape and brush, the low horizontal plane of the steel pergola comes into focus. It bridges the gap between the two-story concrete structures, creating a shaded interstitial zone that acts as the heart of the home. The open cutout on the upper floor allows light and air to circulate freely through the master suite, establishing an intimate connection between upper and lower spaces. Approaching the edge of the sandy courtyard, the ground transitions smoothly from loose beach sand to the sheltered outdoor living areas. Under the low canopy of the pergola, a wooden kitchen bar counter peeks out from the shadowed recess of the concrete wall. Succulent plants and native greenery rim the perimeter, creating a natural border that makes the architecture feel as though it grew directly out of the sandy coastal terrain. Standing back to view the full elevation at sunset, the structural logic of Casa Macahuite comes into full clarity. Two twin concrete towers flank a wide, open-air central pavilion, perfectly balanced beneath the vast Mexican sky. The open ground level allows views to pass straight through the house from front to back, maximizing cross-ventilation and creating a porous threshold where indoor living and outdoor landscape become indistinguishable. The architectural roof diagram illustrates the precise geometric ordering of the site. The 5 main planes, the 4 parallel vertical concrete walls, and the central floating roof deck form the backbone of the spatial layout. This site plan shows how the surrounding landscape was carefully mapped, ensuring that existing vegetation and topography direct the placement and orientation of the home. The ground floor plan details the main living zones arranged along a central axis. In the middle lies the expansive wooden deck, anchored by a long dining table, sun loungers, and a linear infinity pool along the front edge. Flanking this central common area are 2 enclosed modules, one housing an open kitchen and pantry on the right, and the other accommodating a relaxed ground floor bedroom and living nook on the left. The upper-level floor plan demonstrates the private layout of the home. 2 independent bedroom suites occupy the top floors of the opposing concrete towers, ensuring complete privacy for residents and guests. Each upper suite features its own dedicated bathroom, storage, and private terrace area, all oriented to capture cross breezes and sweeping views of the Pacific Ocean and mountains. The longitudinal section drawing reveals the vertical spatial experience of the house. Double-height voids inside the bedroom towers bring light deep into the lower level, while lush indoor-outdoor gardens flourish in protected alcoves. The central pergola creates a long, shaded horizontal volume between the towers, protecting the outdoor living space from direct sun while encouraging air movement across the deck.
The architectural elevation drawing highlights the dynamic operable louver system spanning the open facades. These full-height timber shutters can be completely folded back or closed down, depending on wind, sun, and privacy needs. This passive climate control strategy allows the house to continuously adapt to the changing tropical weather conditions without relying on artificial energy.
Stepping under the central pergola, the full impact of the open pavilion layout takes hold. The low ceiling, lined with dark timber beams, frames a dramatic, wide-angle perspective directly out to the ocean horizon. Raw cast concrete walls flank both sides of the wooden deck, creating a cool, protected microclimate where soft sea air passes continuously through the open space. Further back under the pavilion ceiling, the communal living area comes alive through tactile, unpretentious material choices. A solid slab wooden dining table with matching benches sits alongside a low-slung, built-in concrete sofa with beige cushions. The rich tones of the natural timber floorboards contrast against the pale concrete surfaces, establishing a warm, grounded ambiance suited for slow, communal dining. Looking toward the pool deck from under the deep shadow of the pergola, comfortable, neutral sun loungers rest on the timber deck facing the water. A tall potted cactus stands against the smooth concrete wall, anchoring the space in its local desert context. The transition from shaded retreat to sun-drenched pool deck is smooth and effortless, encouraging a relaxed flow of daily life between shadow and light. Moving out onto the pool terrace, the narrow concrete lap pool stretches along the edge of the building like a mirror, reflecting the soft hues of the sky. The cast concrete pool wall drops off into the surrounding native vegetation. To the right, double-stacked wooden louvers on the bedroom facade can be opened to invite coastal winds, or closed to provide complete shade during the hottest hours of the day. Tucked into the side of the ground floor volume, the outdoor kitchen is built directly from cast concrete. A thick concrete countertop incorporates an integrated sink with a tall gooseneck faucet and a gas cooktop, framed by sliding wooden louvered screens. The kitchen floor sits flush with the surrounding sand, allowing cooks to work barefoot with their feet touching the cool earth while preparing meals with fresh, local ingredients. Looking out through the kitchen window cutout, the concrete counter forms a clean, horizontal frame surrounding a breathtaking view of the wild coastal scrubland at sunset. The minimalist layout keeps utensils and clutter to a minimum, letting the natural textures of stone, wood, and distant evening skies dominate the cooking experience. Moving around to the exterior side of the eastern volume, a cantilevered concrete staircase climbs along the outer wall, providing direct access to the upper suite. The raw texture of board-formed concrete is left completely exposed, weathering gracefully over time, as ocean salt and sun leave their gentle mark on the building's shell. Beneath the floating concrete stairs on the lower terrace, a cozy reading nook is carved into the structural shadow. Built-in concrete benches fitted with soft linen cushions offer a quiet spot to rest, away from the sun. Wooden louvered doors open out toward the pool and ocean beyond, framing views of seabirds gliding across the open sky. Entering an open-air bathroom on the ground level, a custom concrete pedestal sink stands within a sandy internal courtyard. A simple circular mirror reflects the open sky and surrounding greenery above. Plumeria trees and cacti grow directly from the sand floor inside the room, allowing rain and sunlight to fall inside, transforming routine washing into a sensory immersion in nature. Ascending to the upper bedroom suite, the space opens dramatically with full-height operable louver doors framing views across the cactus fields to the sea. A simple wooden ladder leans against the raw concrete wall, adding a touch of rustic utility. Crisp white linens drape over the bed, creating a serene, monastic atmosphere where light, shade, and coastal breezes dictate the mood of the room. Looking down from an elevated mezzanine nook inside the suite, the double-height spatial volume becomes apparent. Slender black metal railings line the upper edge, maintaining visual openness throughout the room. Potted tropical plants line the interior ledge, catching the soft, reflected light streaming in from the open terrace and pool deck below. Inside the main sleeping area, a custom timber headboard brings warmth to the board-formed concrete walls. Soft sunlight filters through closed wooden louvers, casting rhythmic, linear shadows across the bed and floor. The room feels like a quiet sanctuary, tucked safely behind solid structural walls while remaining intimately connected to the ocean horizon through open window frames. In the main ensuite bathroom, a continuous concrete vanity bench holds twin trough sinks with sleek chrome wall-mounted faucets. Frosted glass panels provide privacy while allowing diffuse natural light to flood the room. Through the far louvered window, a framed view of the blue ocean horizon reminds occupants of their location at every moment of the day. In another private courtyard alcove, a cast concrete sink is set against an internal light well where a young frangipani tree grows toward an open sky cutout. The juxtaposition of raw, industrial concrete and delicate tropical foliage underscores the central design ethos, allowing nature to occupy and soften the architectural framework. A second upper vanity area takes advantage of a dramatic side opening, featuring a thick, weathered log used as a rustic shelf along a low concrete wall. Looking past the sink, the view opens up to lush green treetops and the distant, mist-shrouded peaks of the Sierra Madre Mountains, offering a captivating contrast to the ocean views on the opposite side. Looking directly down from the upper-level deck, the aerial perspective highlights the swimming pool's clear, shimmering water against the rich wooden decking and raw concrete floor slabs. Swimmers cool off in the shallow water while others relax on sun loungers, demonstrating how the pool serves as a refreshing communal anchor for tropical life. As evening approaches, the space under the wooden pergola transforms into a front-row seat for the sunset. The sun sinks directly into the Pacific Ocean, casting a brilliant golden-orange glow across the pool deck and horizon. The deep shadows of the timber ceiling frame the radiant sky, highlighting how the architecture acts as a framing device for the natural beauty of Puerto Escondido. As night falls, the silhouette of Casa Macahuite stands quiet and majestic against the soft twilight sky. Warm interior lights glow subtly from within the concrete volumes, illuminating the open spaces between the vertical walls. Framed by wild cacti in the foreground, the building feels completely at peace with its surroundings, a durable, climate-responsive shelter that honors the land it sits upon. Casa Macahuite is more than just a home. It is a masterclass in living harmoniously with the elements. Studio Font's thoughtful arrangement of 5 geometric planes creates a building that breathes with the coast, using shade, natural ventilation, and material honesty to craft a deeply calming spatial experience. By allowing concrete, wood, sea, and mountains to converse so freely, the architecture stands as a timeless haven in Puerto Escondido, a place where human habitation and wild landscape exist in quiet, elegant balance.